In the bustling city of Shravasti, there lived a wealthy merchant named Vikram. Despite his success, he was plagued by constant worry and anxiety. His wealth brought him no peace, and he often found himself overwhelmed by the demands of his business and personal life. Seeking solace, Vikram decided to visit Gautam Buddha, whose wisdom was known far and wide. One day, as the morning sun bathed the city in golden light, Vikram made his way to Jetavana Monastery, where Buddha was staying. He arrived to find Buddha seated under a large Bodhi tree, surrounded by his disciples. The tranquility of the place immediately calmed Vikram's troubled mind. Vikram approached Buddha, bowed respectfully, and said, "O wise one, I have everything a man could desire, yet I find no peace. My mind is constantly troubled, and I am unable to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Please help me understand the cause of my inner turmoil." Buddha looked at Vikram with compassion and replied, "Vikram, your suffering stems from your attachment to material possessions and your desire for control. The mind that clings to wealth, status, and power will always be restless. True peace can only be found when you learn to let go and live in harmony with the present moment." Buddha continued, "Let me share with you the teaching of impermanence. Everything in life is subject to change. Our possessions, our relationships, and even our thoughts. When we understand that nothing is permanent, we begin to release our grip on the material world and find peace within ourselves." Vikram listened intently as Buddha spoke. He realized that his anxiety came from his fear of losing what he had, and his constant striving to maintain control over his life. Buddha's words began to lift the veil of ignorance that had clouded his mind. Buddha then spoke of the practice of mindful living. Mindfulness is the key to finding inner peace. It is the practice of being fully present in each moment, without judgment or attachment. When you eat with awareness. When you walk with awareness. Let your mind be where your body is, and you will find tranquility. He guided Vikram through a simple mindfulness exercise, asking him to focus on his breath, feeling each inhale and exhale. As Vikram followed Buddha's instructions, he felt a sense of calm he had never experienced before. His mind, usually racing with thoughts, began to settle. Buddha then spoke about the importance of letting go of the ego. The ego is the source of much of our suffering. It is the part of us that clings to identity, status, and the need to be right. To find true peace, you must learn to see beyond the ego and connect with the deeper truth, who you are, being of pure awareness. Vikram began to understand that his constant need to prove himself and his attachment to his wealth and status were manifestations of his ego. He realized that these attachments were the chains that bound him to his suffering. Buddha then turned to the practice of compassion. Compassion is the foundation of inner peace. When we act with kindness and understanding towards others, we dissolve the barriers that separate us. Compassion for others begins with compassion for oneself. Be gentle with yourself, Vikram, and you will find it easier to be gentle with others. Buddha's words touched Vikram deeply. He realized that he had been too harsh on himself, constantly pushing himself to achieve more, without ever stopping to appreciate his own efforts. He resolved to practice self-compassion and extend that compassion to those around him. Finally, Buddha spoke of the wisdom of letting go. Letting go does not mean giving up what you have, releasing your attachment to it. Understand that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in a peaceful mind and a loving heart. When you let go, you open yourself to the abundance of life, which flows freely when we are not trying to grasp it. Vikram felt a deep sense of liberation as he listened to Buddha's words. He realized that his wealth and status were not the sources of his happiness, but merely tools that he could use wisely. He decided to focus on cultivating inner peace and sharing his resources to benefit others. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the monastery, Vikram thanked Buddha for his teachings. He felt a profound sense of peace and clarity, as if a great burden had been lifted from his shoulders. He knew that the path ahead would not be easy, but with Buddha's wisdom as his guide, he was ready to embark on the journey to inner peace. Buddha smiled and said, "Remember, Vikram, the journey to inner peace is a lifelong practice. Be patient with yourself and trust in the process. With mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, you will find the peace you seek." Vikram bowed deeply to Buddha and left the monastery with a heart full of gratitude and determination. The world around him seemed brighter, more alive, as if he was seeing it for the first time. He knew that he had found the true path to inner peace, path that began within.